Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. It's me, Coach FreeLove, and Coach Artemis. Tell them. Perfect. No, you are here on our channel, Firestorm Freerunning and Acrobatics. Welcome to our YouTube channel. You guys, welcome to our live stream of Firestorm at home. We have done a bunch of really awesome workouts. This is going to be parkour number 22. Very excited to bring that to you. Now, we're going to be doing a bunch of really cool wall climbing techniques. I'm not actually climbing the wall, but we're just going to be doing a few fun workouts that are going to help us to develop those skills. So when you guys are back at the gym, you get to rank up because you've practiced or you've worked out and made yourself strong. Now, there are quite a few pieces of equipment that we're going to need for today's class. So I'm going to talk about those really quickly. We've made a weighted bag before, and I did ask you guys to keep it around if you can. So I've got a backpack. Inside the backpack, I've got a jacket, and inside the jacket, I've got some canned goods. It's about 15 pounds in here. 15, maybe 20. Nothing too crazy. So, first item for today's class, weighted bag. Now, second item for today's class, broomstick! That's right, broomstick's coming back, baby. We're going to be using that just through those straps there. This is our makeshift bar. Nice, so we're going to go on ahead and take that little setup, keep that ready, and off to the side. So keep that in mind. Additionally, I know it's a lot of things, I said it. I've got 2 yoga blocks, right? If you guys don't have yoga blocks, I get that, most people don't. But there's plenty of things inside your house on a day-to-day that you will have that will work, that can help. So one of those things is like a book, like a good, solid, hardback book. You'll probably need 2 of them. In fact, you'll definitely need 2 of them that are like size, right? So the idea here is that we're going to need those for one of our cool, fun workouts at the very end. And the last thing is, I'm not in shoes, and barefoot is always a great way to be, but today I'm actually going to be in socks. We're going to want a little bit less resistance. We don't want to accidentally drag our foot across the floor and give ourselves like a rug burn or a carpet burn. So I'm going to take a seat and throw my socks on real quick. So if you guys don't have those things, you have the chance to go get those things now. Make your weighted bag. Toss your canned goods inside your weighted bag. Great. Make sure that it's cushy and soft by having wrapped it up a little bit with a jacket or a towel maybe. Then, don't forget 2 like-sized books or blocks. Yoga blocks are great. We're also going to need our broomstick. Those are our workout apparatus for the day. And then for your actual apparel, socks, my guys and my ladies. So, we're going to go ahead, get those socks on. I have my space all cleared out. I am ready for my mobility and my warm-ups. So, if you've got those items, great. If you don't have those items, oh, unfortunate. Today is going to be a pretty serious day as far as it goes for wall climbing technique. So, we're going to be using those to really work on our ability to wall climb, even though we don't have any walls that we're going to be climbing up on top of currently. So, nice, strong stance, good posture, chin is up, chest is up, squared in the hips and in the chest. I'm going to go hands like so, but behind my back, like so. And keep the posture. Nice deep breath in and out. I'm going to bring my chin over to one side of my body, over one shoulder. And don't let my posture fall apart. I'm going to hold it there for just a moment. Nice deep breath in and out. I'm going to turn to my opposite side, turn my head, chin to my opposite shoulder, and hold it for a moment. Deep breath in and out. Very good stuff. And we're going to do our half circle neck roll. So chin to one shoulder, drop it down, roll it across, and pick it up on the opposite side and back and forth. Keep your body in good posture. Try and make sure that only your head and neck are really moving for this action here. All right, very good stuff. Neck should be nice and immobilized. We're going to release those arms from behind our back. Start with a few backwards shoulder circles. So I want to make sure that you guys are lifting not just your shoulder, but that giant bone in the back of your shoulder way over here. This is your shoulder blade. You're going to lift not just your shoulder, but your shoulder blade up as well. And when we're doing wall climb ups and stuff like that, it is very, very important that you guys are not just using your shoulder, but that you're using your whole back for a certain wall climb up for that technique. So keeping yourself in that mentality of a full engaged back during the shrug is going to help you down the line when you're actually doing your wall climbs. So a few backward shrugs, but use as much of the back as possible to lift. So again, lifting not just your shoulder, but thinking about lifting your whole shoulder socket almost. Right? Boom, backwards, big lifts. Use as much of your back muscle as possible in doing so. Good, and let's go also to our opposite direction now, right? Big forward roll. And there's a very exaggerated pinch of my shoulders behind me, pinching them together as I lift them up and push them forward over the top. Again, using a lot of that back muscle. That's a huge part of all of our climb ups and our top outs, right? Very good stuff. All right. So shoulders back are a little bit mobilized, upper neck's mobilized. We're going to go into the elbows and the wrists just a little bit. My favorite way to do this is to multitask and to keep that pressure in between the hands. We've done it a couple times before, so we're just going to jump right on in. Back of the hands together, thumbs to chest, elbows towards the front. We're going to bring this up and then flip it over towards our prayer hand. Bring that down and flip it around. Boom, down and around. We're just going to repeat this pattern of this tucked hands and this prayer hands, and spin and rotate through, kind of mobilizing the wrist, keeping the pressure in there to straighten up, or to warm them up a little bit. And then for the elbows, we're going to go in there, interlock the fingers and straighten them out. Nice. Good. Shake out the whole arm. We're going to move into the torso for a few more twists now. So slightly wider stance, and if you guys did put those socks on like I suggested.
Hold on, you're frozen.
Where's my phone?
Hold on, friends. Go.
Boom. Sorry, technical difficulties. All right, guys. But yeah, so slightly wider stance now, and torso is the goal. So we're gonna twist slowly in the torso, going back and forth, just like so. Try and twist to your maximum ability to twist, right? So like to the point where I can go no further. But I'm trying not to come up out of the floor too much. Right, now we're going to add a little bit of momentum, driving through that twist with our arms just a little bit more now. Just like that. And again, always looking the direction that we're twisting while breathing as much as you can. Very good stuff, guys. A few hip circles. Isolate the spine. Try not to let as much of it move as possible. I use my hands almost like a plate, like a shelf. Everything above the shelf, not allowed to move. Right? You get all the way down to the point where your hands are right above your hips. Trying to isolate all of your upper body and roll just the lower body, and in both directions. Don't forget to switch. Roll the opposite direction. Good. All right, guys. We're going to bring those feet and our knees together. Squat down nice and low, and we're going to do a few knee circles. I like to imagine really that my knees are going around my toes, obviously not down here, but up above them, making a circle over them. Just like that. Always breathing, minding your entire body's posture. There are moments I have to break my form a little bit, talk to the camera, make sure you hear what I have to say. You guys just kind of stay focused on what you're doing, spotting something, opposite direction for those knee circles. Spotting something to where you're staring at something, right? I'm just like, this is my center of my focus. I'm gonna stare at it and try and, orient my body to balance the whole time I'm doing this action while spotting that one item. So we talked about spotting before. You guys, spotting is super helpful for all balance related things. Nice, good knee circles. Shake out those legs. We're going to do just a few ankle mobility drills as well. So keep those feet under your hips now. And we're gonna lift our big toe up off the ground, put our foot nice and flat just like so. So lift the big toe up off the floor and press it back down. Doing a few of our toe lifts. Nice. Just keep it going, nice and rhythmic. I sometimes tend to mirror this movement with my hands, with my feet. Kind of keeps my whole body engaged. I'm thinking, about that lift in the foot. Everything I'm doing in my mobility is a very conscious effort. I'm really activating those muscle groups on the side of my calf and the bottom of my foot to create that lift. I'm not just kind of leaning back and my foot is coming up. I'm instead creating that lift by contracting those muscles and elongating those certain muscles to create that movement. Right? Not just letting it happen, but making it happen. There's a difference. Right? Now we're going to do just a few calf raises up on our heels. And today is not going to be a super duper fast moving day. Today is going to be a little bit more slow and really intentionally focused on building slow strength for certain movements. If you're really strong and moving through something slowly, when you add momentum, it tends to make that action easier. Now, some of the movements that we're going to do today, we're not going to have the access to a wall to climb onto for this time being, or we're going to be training like we don't have that currently. So those movements are going to be reduced in their intensity, but increased in their frequency. So where you would go and climb a couple times up a wall, we're going to do quite a few more because it's going to be lower weight. All right, guys, we are all ready. Go get a quick sip of water. I'm going to get a quick sip of mine. We're going to come on back and get those workouts going. All right, excuse me. Thanks everyone. We are coming back, and if you are just joining us, I'm Coach FreeLove. I'm super awesome. No, I'm gonna be your coach for the day. We're talking about a few things that you're gonna need for today's class. I did mention them earlier, but if you missed it, broomstick, backpack. Inside of there, I've got a few weights. Right? So it's a weighted backpack. Those weights are actually canned goods wrapped up with a blanket and a towel. And like-sized books. Okay, they're actually not books. They're yoga blocks. So if you've got yoga blocks, great. These are going to be super duper helpful. Now, if you don't have them, 2 books that are about the same size are going to be just as helpful. Now, just to start, we're actually going to take all of those pieces of equipment out of our way. And the last piece of equipment that I said you should be in is socks for today's workout. So I'm going to go on ahead, move my bag and my broomstick out of the way. And for today's wall climbs, climb ups, muscle up, wall muscle up, top out, If you guys don't know what a top out is, or a Kong out, it's when we get our feet up on top of the wall. We essentially grab the wall, push the wall down to the height of our thighs, we cast our hip up out of the way, and we put our feet to the top of the wall. It's top out, right? There's many ways to refer to this movement. Top outs are just the fun, quick, and easy way to do so. We are going to practice our floor Kong just to start warming up that action of putting our feet in the place of where our hands were. So I'm going to squat down nice and low and pull my feet over to my hands. Not too crazy, not too flashy, just a little floor Kong. It's always easy to do, especially if you are on, a stable surface. If you're in your socks and you're on a hardwood floor, that little bit of extra slip, something that you guys might want to, be mindful for. We don't need to do big old giant floor Kongs right now. Now I'm personally going to suggest that instead you be on socks and carpet. It's just more soft and cushy. Again, floor Kong, squat down nice and low, and try and replace the hands with the feet. That's really the biggest goal with your floor Kongs. Just a few more of them together, then we're going to move up into the next step, the next more difficult, more challenging step of this movement. Whew, I'm finding myself sliding a little bit. I'm also landing a little flat on my foot. I'm going to try and point my toe and aim for the ball of my toe more. There we go. Stay low in the squat, a little bit less slide, especially because we're kind of tricky situation here. If we're on this slippery, this is a great way to help train your balance and your control. So, still slippery, but still staying on my feet, not falling on my bottom. Woo. Now, as you guys can see, I'm experiencing a little bit of slip. That's because I'm in my socks. And that's alright. Should be fine. If you're on hard floors, challenge. That's gonna very seriously challenge you. So please be very careful, very mindful for that. It may even benefit you to take your socks off for a little while until we get into the later end of class. So you guys just keep that in mind if you want to for yourselves. Now, just one or two more last floor Kongs together, and really emphasize that you're getting the hands and the feet to that generally same space, right? Just like so. Once more. All right. I'm not doing it too big, too giant of a crazy floor Kong. It's going to make that really hard. But this next one is, well, it's going to be a little weird. Promise you that. You guys probably aren't used to doing a Kong out of a handstand. That's going to be what it feels like. So we're going to actually strike a small lunge, and I'm going to kick towards a handstand teeter-totter style. I'm going to bring both of my feet up, and then I'm very firmly going to lock through my torso and stop the action of my teeter-totter and redirect that action into a floor Kong. I'm going to squeeze on the floor a little bit, so I'm tightly placing my hands on the floor, and then I'm going to really pull myself across it to help in that redirection. So I'm going to start like I'm in a lunge teeter-totter, like so, and I am going to kick up with my back leg, but then I'm going to go hands, readjust and redirect. So, it just feels like a bigger floor Kong, but if you have the right action of casting your back leg, then going into your Kong, this is going to help you for down the line how we respond when we do a cast to Kong up, right? If I'm on a ledge, like if there's like a counter, and I cast my hips off of it and Kong up into that. So this will help us to fill that up. Again, in that lunge, casting up through that leg, hands on the floor, like I'm kicking the handstand. Slowing it down, walking out through the body and redirecting it into a floor Kong. Just to get the feeling of the combination of leg drive for a hip lift, as well as redirection and knee drive to the feet. So, again. just a few more of those, and we'll move on to our next step. At any point that you find, coach, that next step is really challenging, it's always wise to step back to the step you were good and successful at, and to continue there until you build a little bit more strength, then to push yourself to try that next step. So keep that in mind. Sometimes progress is a slightly forward and backward to go forwards again sort of movement. And I feel like that's the same with all progress. So just keep that in mind for yourselves. All right, back to that lunge. Ready for that handstand to Kong drill. Ta-da. Woo! Sick. So we'll do just a few more together and then move on to our next portion. May even feel like it helps you out for like dive Kong, if you really jump into it off that leg. But that's not really our goal right now. So if anything, let's try and shorten it up. See if we can bring the hands closer to our feet now. So from that lunge, hands closer to the feet. Nearly kick into inversion. Woo. Doing a lot to redirect and control the body to stay in that tightened space. One more like that, and then we'll move on. Woo. Nice. Now, all right, guys. When I said you're going to need a few pieces of equipment, this is nearly the time for that. We are going to do just a few more workouts. They're going to be down low on the floor, but keep that equipment in mind. Keep it near you. Okay, guys? So I'm going to get down into my push-up position, nice and low, and I'm really only going to work on a push-up shrug. So this action here. So in that push-up, coming in here at a slightly tilted angle. In that push-up, I'm not bending my arms. Instead, I'm lowering through my shoulders. And I'm creating this pinch in the back of my shoulder blade as I drop my chest forward. So I'm up, and then I'm down. Then I'm up, and then I'm down. And so, like I said earlier, there's a lot of back muscle that goes into doing your climb ups, into doing them right and doing them well. If I wanted to climb up a big old wall, when I got up to the top of it, my biggest muscle groups are in my back. So to get up that wall, I'm going to use those. Why not, right? They're giant muscle groups. So this shrug really helps us. If we were to do a full push-up and go down and come up, at the bottom of that push-up, we hit that pinch in our shoulder blades, right? Let's do that together. So we're going to bottom out our push-up and pinch the shoulder blades, then push into the ground and through the shoulder blades, finishing with that stronger hollow. Bottomed out, almost hands off the ground like you're pinching your shoulder blades back in a dead stop push-up. Then hands in, push up, hollow out. If this is the wall and I've climbed up, my chest is on top of it, this position where I'm at is the most tightly condensed position that I'm going to have to push up from. So, if you guys had those books, this is going to be a good opportunity to grab those books or those yoga blocks, because we're going to do our push-ups, but we're going to dip our chest underneath the height of our hands. So as if this wasn't a flat wall, but it was more like castle walls. So now I'm in my push-up, hands are on my books or my yoga blocks, whatever it is that you have. I should state that they should be hard back, not soft cover. Hard back books, and again, like size. Under the hand, we're going to drop to that push-up, bottomed out, and now this over the top sort of push-up here. Ooh. I'm in essentially like a decline. I've dropped below my hands. Just like so. now in normal push-ups, you more often than not don't hit the floor. What I'm doing currently are dead stop push-ups. And so there's a variation on your push-up where when you hit the bottom, you remove all of your pressure entirely off of your hands, right? And so you can demonstrate that by taking a hand off of that block or your block as you hit that bottom point. So I'm here, down, up, oh my gosh, that's such a challenging pinch in the shoulder blade, and then from that pinch, press back on up. And so that, like I said, is variation on your push-up. That's the variation that you guys have witnessed me doing for the sake of this climb up. Again, if I climbed up on a wall, I'm going to be chest on the wall almost definitely. Till I'm a little bit stronger, then my chest doesn't have to go down to the wall. Then if you can, we do those push-ups, no stop, or we let it pop off the wall a little. Right? But push-ups are a really awesome and really great and amazing way for you to work on your wall climbing tech. The other thing is, like we talked about, our floor comps. So, those two books, we're going to keep those for another thing in just a moment. Now we talked about a lot of the stuff that you need for your upper body, and we did mention briefly about how your torso really helps you. How like casting, lifting your hips up using your body and your legs can create this sense of additional climbing potential. So I'm actually going to do a few, I think my favorite workout. They're just toe drags or toe slides. We're going to slide into a push-up, slide back into a pipe. And that's a huge part of why I have my socks on. Okay, because like I said earlier, you don't want to get carpet burn. You want to reduce some of the friction and make it so that your body's actually able to slide. So from my push-up position, using my core, right, I'm going to be holding, and I'm not in a normal push-up now. I'm actually toes pointed. More like I'm in an upward dog with good body posture for a push-up. Then I'm going to slide in to a pipe, nice curled toes, and then I can walk back on the knuckle of my toe, just like that. And slide up, and walk back. And slide up. And now I slid up onto the flat of my feet. Our next step is going to be this pike slide, and we're going to add a top out, or that conga. So I'm going to go back into my push-up, and I'm going to add even more onto it. So from that push-up, or that toe-pointed push-up hold, I'm going to slide my toes in, and try and pop and flick the floor away, lying flat on my feet. Right? So my feet are now currently behind where my hands were. And so what I would need to do is try and use my core more explosively to fold and get my feet closer to my hands, even in the act of taking my hands off the ground, still carrying my feet up there to the front. I'll represent that with like a broomstick. So off to the side, like I've got a physical line. My hands would be on that line. Now I'm going to get my toes ready. Try and flick the floor, land on the flat of my feet, past that line. Try it again. Hands would be in alignment with that. Toes are pointed, and we're sliding up. And if you guys can't get past it, that's where you're at. Right? This is starting level for that workout. And if you can, your next level would be trying to get from the toes pointed to the feet flat. But now I'm fairly in alignment with my edge, or with my edge being the broomstick line. So now your third step, making it even more challenging but more effective, would be to top out past your hands past that line. So hands are on the edge or on that line, and very aggressive, drive through the torso and push across the floor and top out past that line. You can really see how your body is a huge factor to getting you to climb up from the position of being on your hands. More often than not, when we talk about people climbing up, they're not even on their hands yet. And then they get to the point where they're on their hands, they're under their hands and like, oh my goodness, this is really hard. They get here, but then they realize their whole body is below them and they have to push up and climb up from there too. Oh my goodness, this is also really hard. Using momentum, using these sort of workouts as a drill that will help you. I guarantee that will help you. So we're going to do a few more of the most advanced variation of our toe drag and top out that we can do. So, hands are on that line, toes are pointed back. I'm going to pike and pop up. Oh my goodness. And now I am landing almost in a pike. One of the very last bits would be to squat your hips down and to adjust your posture. So for those of you that are at home, please learn from that as well. I'm going to go ahead and go for a few more. And if you guys want to, you can use the broomstick as an obstacle to kind of mark or guide yourself as well. There we go. So, if this was a wall, I would have done a really good job climbing it, is the hope. That's the theory, right? Now, like I said, there's a few more components of this action that we haven't really gone over just yet. So, I'm thirsty. Before we get too crazy into the next stuff, we're all going to go ahead and get a quick sip of water. Because I know I sure need it after talking and doing that. For you guys, it's pretty hot there, I'm sure. So, go, get some water. We'll see each other in just a moment, promise. All right. So, that's right, we're back, guys. And I'm going to go on ahead, give you my best Nick Stone impression. It's Coach Nick Stone. Whoa, sick. Okay, perfect. No, I've got my broomstick, and if you guys don't have it yet, weighted backpack's going to be super important. So, I'm just going to go on ahead and get that over here for myself. Now, this is probably not the wisest way to hold the backpack because it's all the weight on one very small strap. So I'm actually going to take the broomstick and thread it through where the normal straps are. So it's just like that, right? Now, it is likely to slide and it is likely to swing, and that, I'm going to tell you guys, that would feel very uncomfortable smacking you in the face. 5 pounds, 10 pounds, doesn't matter. It would suck. So, don't let it. We're going to do our workouts and they're going to be nice and slow. We're going to take that broomstick, thread it through. I'm going to make sure that my arms are nice and level on the sides. And I'm going to bring my hands in, do just a few curls, right? Like I'm bringing this up to my chest, just like so. Make sure this right now is just our test of weight. Make sure this is not too much weight that you can't curl it. You're going to try and keep your elbow pinned in towards your side. And we're going to try and get that all the way up to our chest. Try not to worry about pulling your elbow up off of your body. If you're able to move this here, great. If you need to, add another can or two, or if you need to take a can of weight out, that's okay too. We're also going to do a turn on our grip, just like that. Holding that bar down straight by our side, by our thighs. We're going to lift it up straight, hold it out like a zombie for a moment, and then lift it up straight. But don't hit yourself in the face. And then set it back down. And set it back down. And if you can control the weight slowly like that, and it's sliding through the broomstick and it's not having any issues, then you should be able to use this piece of equipment for your workout today. It's an important thing to do. Make sure that you guys are going to be safe using your equipment. I don't want you to accidentally get hurt because you took my advice doing something, but did it rash or brazen and with a lack of self-concern. So, Now we've got our weight. Now I think we're pretty much ready to do our quote unquote our muscle ups, right? So if I was in a cat hang, my hands would be up on the ledge of a wall, like so, and my feet would be up on that wall. Now, taking my feet out of the equation, we're going to say that I'm on this wall here. I'm going to go thumbs under my bar so that it doesn't slip out of my hands. Okay, guys? But now, I'm not straight up hitting myself in the face. I'm out in front of me, again, as if I was hanging on a wall. If I'm hanging on a wall, more often than not, my hands are not directly above my head. They're slightly affront that position. And from here, I'm going to actually slowly bring this down towards my chest. And when I push down through it, I'm going to keep this slight hollow in my body. Like I'm pushing my spine up and out. Similar to how we did on that shrug in our push-up on the floor. So I'm pushing that slight hollow through my shoulders at the end of that. As if this was the top of the wall and I was all the way up. Right? Now this would be my half cat on top of the wall. So let's go back down to our cat hang. Again, bag and the weight should be up in front of you. And I'm going to bring that down, and not just down, but in and under my chin and chest a little bit. Because now when my weight is on top of the wall or above that line, I can control that weight just a little bit better, strong hollow position. Now specifically, if I was actually climbing up on a wall, if I was going up on top of something, I would need to be here to push myself up effectively. If I'm back here and I'm trying to climb up on the wall, you can imagine this would be a very challenging way to put me atop that thing, right? So, just a few more of these nice, slow, controlled lifts here with the bag, weighted bag. All right. Up, grabbing onto the wall, pull your chin and chest over the wall, push yourself up nice and straight, and now controlling the movement and redirecting it opposite direction. We're going to go back and forth through this, just like so. Slow and controlled. Right, slow and steady wins the race, my friends. And now I'm taking that nice and slow. Just like that. In. And down. Then up. And out. Just a few more, guys. Bless you.
Thank you.
That's right, you're welcome. Just a few more. Remember that we're not leaning forward that whole time. We shouldn't be. We come back up to here, we come out to here, sit up, use the back. You should feel a little bit of that in the back. Good, let's do one more together. Climb up the top of that wall. Good. Now, the movement should make sense, but maybe you don't quite feel the workout as effectively as you would like to. And maybe add some more weight if that's the case. And coach, I was really struggling. I couldn't do those movements that way. Okay, then maybe take some weight out. But your goal could be eventually to hang from a ledge or a bar and do that movement with your body's weight. So I'm only lifting half of a pound there and maybe 15 pounds in here. So the idea there is that I'm not even lifting barely 10% of my body's weight by doing that movement. But I am getting used to doing the movement. I'm learning how to pull my arms in and to turn my chest over my hands and to push myself up as if I was on a wall. I'm practicing the movement. Even though I'm not practicing it in its full weight and its full strength. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier. Like, I would not do however many reps of that. That was for a duration of time. I did almost 5 minutes of muscle ups. I would not be able to do, or I would be very seriously struggling to do 5 minutes of actual muscle ups. So earlier, I mentioned, we're doing more low intensity but high frequency use of the movement. That's what I mean when I say that. So, good stuff, guys. We are going to take our bag and our broomstick, and we're going to go ahead and set those back out of the way. The wonderful handy dandy books or yoga blocks, those items that we had earlier, these are only going to be the next and final piece of equipment that we're going to use for today's workout. This next part is going to be challenging. There is no other way around it. And the only thing that I would consider more challenging than this, as far as your wall climb ups goes, is actually doing a wall climb up. But some people will disagree, and they'll say that what I'm going to ask you to do now is probably even more challenging than the wall climb up. So, whether you feel one way or the other, no matter what, you're getting a good workout is the goal. So, I've got my books, like-sized books. In fact, they're so like-sized, they're perfect. They're yoga blocks. And I'm going to be setting them down similarly to how I did for my push-up position. But now, what I'm going to do is called a dead man's drag. But that's what we refer to this as. I'm going to lay down nice and flat on my belly with my hands up on my books. My arms are going to be here as if I was like the chalk outline in a crime scene. So, I'm here. Dead man. Right? But not exactly. My arms are about 90 and almost like a field goal post. Right? My cactus arms for mobility. Now I'm going to take myself from this position, lift my elbows up. Really, I'm grabbing the front side of my book or my yoga block. I'm pressing into the floor to push and pull myself up and into place. Now I'm doing that while dragging my entire body's weight. So again, this action from the side so you can see it. Down like a dead man. Elbows are going to come up, and I'm going to pull myself and push myself up. Now there's a moment in there where these lovely little books or the blocks that are there will maybe slide backwards a little bit. If you feel them sliding backwards, it is a sign that you are pulling but not pushing and pulling. Your goal is to do both. I know that's very challenging for a lot of us. Your goal is to press the block into the floor while simultaneously pulling yourself across it. Yeah, I can very easily slide those blocks back. It is very challenging to hold them in place and slide me past those blocks. That is really the goal. So, exaggerated demonstration is over. I'm going to go get in there and do a few more of my dead man drag and lift. So, down, nice and dead. And if you want to, you can even cross your legs or lift your feet up off the floor to reduce some of the friction, to reduce some of the drag. Right? My legs are down. This is more weight dragging. My legs are up. It's usually a little bit easier to get that movement to happen because though it's the same amount of weight, not all of it's dragging on the floor. So you can make these even easier for yourself by lifting those legs. But by no means should this be an easy workout. You're not here for an easy workout today. So, wall climb ups, go. And are pushing up and topping out. So now we can treat it as if we're like slowly and finally combining all of what we did before. Those decline push-ups where we were dropping past our hands, our toe slides, our top out, all of it. We're putting all of those movements together and doing this. So I'm going to reset from that dead position. And then I'm going to pull myself into whatever the most advanced version of this I can do is. So, dead man. Drag and top out past my blocks. And I'm not throwing blocks back. Maybe this one slid a little bit. But the goal is to throw me past them and up and over them almost. Boy, oh boy, is that tough. And so, I'm only going to do a few more of these. We're going to get a sip of water and take a seat for some stretches. So, like I said, let's do 3 more together, or for however long it's going to take you to do 3 more. Take your time, do 3 more. Then, get some water, and come on back. But, it's 1. Reduce that friction, reduce that drag. That's 2, right? So if you're doing that less advanced version, your feet are on, or your feet are in the air, can't really top out the same, can't slide through and top out. And let's do our 3rd one together. Yeah, under the impression that we're doing most. If you guys are really crazy, instead of reaching your arms out off to the sides like that for a dead man's drag, you would reach your arms straight out in front of you, and you would pull straight through the middle like that. Woo! That's my 3rd one. It's one of the most challenging ways I could do that. It's almost like doing a wall climb and top out if our wall was entirely, I don't know, horizontal instead of vertical. Good stuff, guys. I'm going to take like a whole minute to get water because I'm going to need it. So go get some water, guys. Welcome back, class. Nuh-uh, I'm joking. Sorry. Alright, guys. We're going to knock those yoga blocks out of the way, put your books back into your library shelves, wherever you got them from. And we're going to come take a seat in the center of our workout space for the day, provided that you haven't ripped up your carpet by dragging your body across it, that your parents aren't maiming you currently. It's okay. We're going to go ahead and stretch out in the middle of that space that we did not destroy. But, yeah, we're going to start with just a few very fun, very light stretches to kind of open up the hips a little bit. But as today was mostly an upper body day, we're going to be slowly going into a few laying arm stretches and sitting arm stretches. So, sitting here in our diamond pose, nearly a butterfly, but instead of going all the way into the butterfly, we're going to keep that little square or diamond shape in our legs. I'm going to sit myself up nice and tall, nice and strong. Take a few nice deep breaths from here. I'm going to reach my arms up, adding into that deep breath. Reach up when I deep breathe in. And out. I'm going to let them come down. Again, in. And out. I'm going to do this once more, and when I breathe out, I'm going to reach out with my whole body, reaching out as far as I can reach in front of my feet in this diamond pose. So keep that diamond, keep those hands ready, in, and out. And bring yourself back on in. Very good stuff. Just tighten up that diamond pose into a butterfly now. Go ahead and grab the feet or grab the ankles as you would prefer. I'm going to go ahead and grab my feet for today. I'm just going to flap those wings out. Like I said, today was primarily upper body and back. Just a few little movements here to help get that blood flowing at the very bottom of our back and our hips and then our lower lumbar spine. Whew. It's going to be a really fun spot to feel, strain or stress. And it's a lot of the time when you see people and they get up, like, getting up very slowly and they're holding their back because they have lower back issues. So one of the stretches that we're going to do here helps that. We're actually just going to lay down nice and flat on our back with our legs bent, like so. And I am really going to check this. There's this part of my body where it has this natural curve of my spine. And I'm really going to try and press that nice and flat into the floor. One of the things that helps me to do that is to actually lift my feet off the ground and point my knees down under my armpits. And I even do so to the point where I lift my lower back and my bottom off the ground. When I curl in my abs and I curl my hips, and I lift that off the ground, that part of my back, that natural curvy part, is now pressed into the floor. I'm just going to hold myself in that slight tuck for just a moment for the sake of my lower back. Nice. Always a fun time. A few nice deep breaths in here. Nice. I'm going to bring those legs together. They were slightly apart. I'm going to bring both of those knees over to one side of my body, trying to keep as much of my spine flat as possible. I can push those knees over with my hands, or what I prefer to do is keep my arms wide and just let my knees fall over sideways on their own. Try and keep my shoulders on the floor. And we're going to pull those back on up into the middle and let them fall to the opposite side. All the same. Again, shoulder to the floor. We're going to do this once more on each side for a slightly longer period of time this next time. So keep that curl, keep that very, very bottom of your spine down nice and flat. We're going to tilt over, and when that bottom of your spine lifts up, keep the top of your spine down by keeping your shoulder pinned if you can. Nice. I feel some minor decompression in my back. Very good. Switch to the opposite side. And keep breathing. Good. Bring those knees back into the middle. Very nice. Now, we're going to go ahead and sit on up. Good stuff. Woo! That was great for my lower back. I am feeling all of this a lot better now. I'm going to continue my stretches into my upper body. Actually, from the seated position, being our first one. And keep my hands back behind me. And I'm going to lift my hips like so. And put my hips down over by my heels. And I can lift and move myself over once more if I need to. So lift and move as I need to. But I don't want to let my hands slide apart or come away from each other or slide past me in any sense. Just want to kind of relax. I like to do a few neck circles here, half circles here. On the back side towards my back and shoulders. Towards the front, towards my chest. And then tuck the knees in. Kick and slide yourself out. Nice. Readjust to the center of your space. And I know I'm feeling that in my shoulders, great, and in my elbows actually. So I'm going to, just like at the start of class, we did that hands are pinned. We did that prayer to the back of the hand to prayer hands to back of the hands. We're going to do that again to roll out our wrists and our elbows a little bit. So back the hands into the chest, thumbs to the chest. They're going to come slide up the chest to prayer hands. We're going to pull them down and turn them and flip them. We're going to continue that pattern all the way through. Several series of circular movements. Circles in the hands, circles in the wrists, circles in the elbows. Very good stuff. Go ahead and shake up the wrist. We're going to keep ourselves in this crisscross applesauce position. And we are actually going to do our torso twist from in here. We're going to do a few very light and controlled momentum twists. So just keep that crisscross and drive and twist. Very good stuff. And now we're going to plant our hand, one hand to the opposite knee, just like so. I'm going to keep a nice tight grip here. Reach with my opposite hand over and behind me. Twist. And switch. And twist. Good. And release. We're going to go ahead and tuck and bend our knees a little bit. One of my favorite things to do to stretch actually my shoulders. It's going to sound a little weird, but I'm going to grab a hold of my toe and I'm going to use my leg to stretch my shoulders. So I'm just going to interlock my fingers together like so, put my foot in there on the pad of my toe, and I'm going to push to get this neat little stretch in the round of my back in between my shoulder blades, almost like someone is pushing their foot into here and pulling my arms off. That's that idea there. So this is that like foot in my chest almost, boom. And they're holding onto my arms, and now they're pulling my arms, keeping my chest back myself. Get that nice stretch in your shoulders. Good, coming out of that. Nice stuff. Oh yeah, that feels so great. We're going to lay down in a little T-pose, and we're going to reach up and over from that T-pose, and those are going to be our last few stretches together. If you guys have any questions about today's class, you're always welcome to message us and leave them in our comment section, or you can DM us on any one of our forms of social media. You can even email us directly in our offices, but that might have a slower response time for the sake of your classes that we're doing right now. Right? So now we've got all the way down into our stomach. We're going to hit that T-pose. I'm going to roll my entire body, not just my leg over, but my entire body, leg and hand over that shoulder. Oh yeah, it's a good stretch. Now that hand that's pinned to the floor, if you can, I'm going to turn so you guys can see it. I'm going to slowly walk that hand from that side reach up and up and up and across and around to the side of my head and then forward until my head is on top of my shoulder. So that is a heck of a stretch. And if you guys have never done it before, take it very slowly. And if you need to, let some of your body weight off of your shoulder to let your arm come through. Not everyone has that range of motion. We're going to do it again on the opposite side. I'm going to slide over it so I don't smack into that, so you guys can see what's what. So here I am, my T-pose. I'm going to roll up and over here. Nice, hold, and walk the hand all the way around. And I am a lot less flexible on my left side, so I'm going to come up, even use my arm to support me. Walk that hand under, just like that. Nice. All right, guys, we are just about all done. That was a really fun and fairly intense class. At least for me it was. So if you guys are at home and you're able to pull off all these workouts, you're able to do those workouts, then I'm going to guess that it was a super intense class for you too. And that is your level of commitment and the fact that you're moving and grooving, you know? You're out doing a workout, or you're in doing a workout rather. That's really important at this time. You got to keep yourself fit. You got to keep yourself motivated. You got to keep yourself going. And I really appreciate that you, as our viewer, is doing that. You know, because there's no one that's going to take any better care of you than you. So you should do it. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. Stay hydrated. We look forward to seeing you for Little Heroes tomorrow and Acroflex as well. See you guys.